friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about the books that I read in October. So I'm on a journey in 2024 to read 100 books. I'm almost there, you guys. So today I have 7 books to talk about with you, which brings my total read in 2024 to 83. So I'm right there. I have 17 more that I need to read between November and December to hit this milestone. And I think I can do it. For one, I'm on track, but we normally get the week of Christmas off, and I'm actually taking a different week off here very soon because I have a lot of vacation time left. So I'm hoping between those 2 weeks, I'm able just to get a lot of reading done in general. Much less just the rest of the year. So really excited that I've almost hit my goal. But we're going to talk about 7 books today. I've got 1 fantasy romance, 1 romance, and the rest are kind of 2 romances, but the rest are more mystery thriller. Let's talk about the one just standalone romance first, and that is Nicholas Sparks' newest novel, Counting Miracles. So I've been a longtime reader of Nicholas Sparks. I've got my computer here pulling up my Goodreads if you see me looking over. I've been a longtime reader of Nicholas Sparks, and I have found recently that I just don't love a lot of his novels. I don't know if my preferences have just changed so much from back in the day when you were reading, A Walk to Remember, The Notebook, those novels. But I feel like the ones that I've read recently just don't compare. And this one was no different. So this is about, it's like 2 different stories happening at the same time. They are connected, but you don't find out till the end of the book how they are connected. So the first story is about Tanner. He's in this area of North Carolina, kind of looking for somebody. He's looking for his biological father, and he meets this woman named Caitlin and her 2 kids, and kind of forms a little bit of a relationship with them. So there's, the romance, family dynamic aspect of that. And then the other part of the story is about a man named Jasper. And Jasper is this old man that lives alone with his dog, Arlo, and he is obsessed with finding this albino deer that has been spotted in the area. So it's those 2 stories happening, and then eventually, you figure out how they coincide. I found this to be super boring. I did not like the romance between Tanner and Caitlin, and I won't get into details as to why because I don't want to spoil it, but I did not care for their relationship. Found it to be really just a stretch. And it's Nicholas Sparks. I think a lot of his books sometimes are like that, but did not care for their dynamic. And I didn't care for Jasper, this old man, being obsessed with this albino deer. It was kind of boring. There wasn't a lot of substance to that story, I felt like. And I wish it would have been a little bit more. I've read a couple books from him recently where he's had like 2 stories in one. Dreamland was like that. And then eventually the stories merge, and I'm just finding those are not my cup of tea when it comes to Nicholas Sparks. In general, just having a hard time with him right now, so I don't rush to read his books anymore, but this was brand new. I had it on hold at the library, and it came up right away, so I'm glad I read it because I like to keep up with his books, but nothing that I felt amazing about. If you are a diehard Nicholas Sparks fan, of course you'll probably really like it. I'm just not that person anymore. Still gave it a 3-star because it still was an enjoyable novel, and I still liked it enough for what it was, but just not anything I would particularly recommend. I'm moving into fantasy romance. I have 1, and that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So I've seen this all over Book Talk, and it's a novel that I've really wanted to read. It's been high on my to-read list for a long time. This is about a vampire and a werewolf that are put into this like arranged marriage in order to keep their territories at peace with each other. They're enemy territories, and so they're in this arranged marriage. So it's a fantasy because you have information about vampires and werewolves, and humans exist in this world as well. And then you have this enemies to lovers type of romance. There are some kind of political things going on. I thought this was really fun. Liked the kind of political parts of this. I gave this a 4 stars. I thought it was just a fun, enjoyable read. Is it like an unbelievably amazing book? No, but if you're into fantasy romance, if you want a good standalone, I would highly recommend this. A lot of times fantasy romance come in series, and so I have found that it's hard to find a standalone fantasy romance. So I think this one was really fantastic. I'm very glad that I read it. And I think this author does a lot of romance in general, so this was definitely different for her, kind of diving into the fantasy romance realm. So then we get into the rest of the novels I read, which are thriller. The first one I'm going to mention is thriller, but it's also romance, and that is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne. What's her last name? Brynne Weaver. This is part of a trilogy. The second book is out, and then the third book is coming out, I think, next year. This was such a fun read. Loved this book so much. It is about 2 serial killers that get together and have a romance. So these 2 serial killers, they're kind of like the Dexter type serial killers where they go and kill other serial killers. So the good type of serial killers. But they meet one day and then they go on this like multi-year journey of competing and trying to figure out a certain serial killer, like who that person is, and then whoever can kill him the fastest wins. And so they kind of start forming a relationship through that time. And I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers, but it's more like friends to lovers in a way. A very gory book though. It has a lot of kind of gory horror elements to it, but then is funny and quirky and romantic at the same time. It is such an interesting combination. If you like thriller, mystery, horror, and you like romance, this is a perfect meet in the middle because it has aspects of both of it. There is some suspenseful parts of this book, and it just is such an interesting concept. Really enjoyed it. I actually have the second one in my office right now. I got from the library, so I'm hopeful to be able to read it here soon so I can get caught up in the series. But very much enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I liked it. I liked the uniqueness of it, and I thought it was just a fun read. And then the rest of the books are just your typical traditional thriller type novels, really. I read The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. I think this is one of her newest novels, if I remember right. This one was not my favorite. I gave it a 3 stars, but I felt like this was more of a family drama than a hardcore mystery thriller, kept me on my toes. It is a fast-paced book, but I definitely would categorize this as a family drama type of novel instead of anything super suspenseful. So this is about 2 siblings that come together to investigate the death of their father. Their father fell off of a cliff, and they think that it is a suspicious death and that it was not accidental. And so they come together, these 2 siblings, to investigate what happened to him, if he was maybe pushed, and if so, who would have pushed him. So it's really going into the dynamics of the rest of the family, the people that work with him, and trying to put those pieces together. Focuses a lot on sibling type of relationships too. It is a fast-paced novel. They're always doing something, always going somewhere, putting some sort of piece together, but it wasn't as much of a kind of mystery as I would have liked. If you read from her, what is her other book? I've read it, and I think they made a TV show about it. The one where the husband goes missing. What is that one called? The Last Thing He Told Me. I just saw that there's going to be a sequel to that. That's interesting. So, yeah, it says The Last Thing He Told Me, there is a sequel coming out in 2025. That's interesting. But if you've read The Last Thing He Told Me, very similar structure of a novel. So if you liked that, you probably would enjoy The Night We Lost Him. Next, I read What Have You Done by Shari Lapena. This, I think, is her newest novel as well. I'm pretty sure I read all of her books. None of them to me are ever outstanding, amazing, other than The Couple Next Door. I did really like that one. I think she wrote that book, right? Am I crazy? Yeah, pretty sure she wrote The Couple Next Door. But they are good, quick mystery thriller type reads. This one was no different. It is about this small town where a high school girl is found one day dead in a field. She's been murdered, and trying to figure out who in this kind of small town killed her. And so it follows a variety of different people. And so you're led to thinking, this person did it, this person did it, this person did it. And toward the end of the book, you're like, I have no idea who did this, because she leads you in a variety of different directions to try to figure out who is responsible for this death. It was fun. It was a good, fast, quick mystery thriller read. It kept me on my toes. I did not expect the twist at all. It was very much nothing that I had thought of, and I did like the way it ended. So I enjoyed that part of it. If you like something easy to read, these for me are good beach reads, are perfect for this kind of time of year, spooky season, something that you don't have to think about too much. This was a great, fun read. Gave it 3 stars. Next, I picked up Ruth Ware's newest novel. This is One Perfect Couple. She's like an automatic read author for me. I really love her as an author. This book was really good. I gave it a 4 stars. I am realizing how great of a reading month I had, because I have a lot of 4 stars this month, which is awesome. So this is about a bunch of couples that go on to this dating show, and they're going to compete to see who the perfect match is, who the perfect couple is. And so maybe it's not the person you came with, maybe it's another partner that is also on this game show. And they go out to this remote island to do this game show experience, and a big storm comes in, takes out all the power and all of their like emergency supplies, and essentially they are stranded on this island for weeks on end. So as you can imagine, people start unraveling, there's fighting, food and water are scarce, and it is like an utter panic to not only survive, but be able to get out. While that's happening, some of the cast members are showing up dead. And so there is a potential killer on the island. And so not only are they trying to survive, they're trying to figure out who to trust. I would take this as being like Love Island meets Survivor with some murderer in between. It is a really interesting concept. I thought this was super fun. It's a little bit boring in the beginning, but it does pick up and keeps you on your toes, and you want to see what happens next. The book takes you through a couple twists and turns where you really don't know who to trust yourself as a reader, and you don't know what the truth is. And so I love that. I love an unreliable narrator when you have no idea what's happening. So the ending was a little bit weak. I do wish the ending would have been a tad different, but overall this was a really fun book. Got through this really quickly and I enjoyed this, so I gave it a 4 stars. And then lastly, for October, I read Freida McFadden's new book, The Boyfriend. Again, this is an auto kind of buy author for me. I say buy, but I don't buy books normally, really. I get them audiobooks from the library or even physical books from the library for the most part. So I had saw that she was coming out with this book, and so I put this on reserve months and months ago. That way I could get it fairly quickly. And I think I got it the day that it released. So really was excited to read her newest novel. This is about a woman named Sydney who is single, and she's on dating apps, and she has some bad dating experiences, and she meets this one man, and he seems like the most amazing man ever, total charmer. At the same time, there is like a serial killer in the area that is killing people that he meets on dating websites. And so she starts to kind of get suspicious that maybe her new boyfriend from this dating website is this man that is killing people. And so it's a dual POV between the boyfriend when he was really young and Sydney, the main character. So you get to kind of see him as a young man and things that he experienced as a child, and then Sydney as an adult and their relationship together. This was really good. I gave it a 4. I thought it was really a fun read. And like I said, Freida is just one of those authors that I kind of auto read. I did not expect the ending of this. The twist was really good. The twist was like mind blowing. And there's a scene at the end where I keep thinking about this one scene at the very end of the book. So it ends in a good way, which I always really, really like. That is it. Those are all of the books that I read in October. So I felt like I had a great reading month. I normally try to pick what my favorite was, and that was really hard because all of them were so good this month, really. I'm going to say, because I have a couple of 4-star reads, I have 4 of them actually. 4 of them are 4-star. I'm going to say my favorite of the month was The Butcher and Blackbird because of how unique it was. I loved the concept of that. And so I'm going to give that my favorite read of the month for pure uniqueness. But we're at 83, like I said, out of 100. So I got 2 more months, and I think I'm going to hit this goal, which is amazing. I don't want to get excited before it happens, but I've been trying to read 100 books for years now and just have never been able to keep up with it. So I'm really jazzed that I think I'm going to do it this time. I would love to know what your favorite book of the month was. Are you reading anything really great? I'm looking for recommendations, and I assume if you are watching this video that you like book recommendations as well. So please share those in the comments down below. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing everything that I read in October, and I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.